born in Isabela, Puerto Rico, but I was raised here in New York. I am a mixed media artist and a jewelry designer. In my past life, I was a fashion merchandiser and an accessory buyer for 18 stores. That's the past. The present is jewelry designer and mixed media artist, and that's what I love. I've been practicing my art for the past 15 years because after 9/11, a lot of us were left with no jobs, so I have to invent myself again. So I started designing jewelry. And then from the jewelry, after I got divorced 5 years ago, I started doing my mixed media art, which is something that I really, really, really love. Plus, I also work with seniors at senior centers, and that's my other passion. What else can I do? And that's about it right now.
What was your childhood like?
Oh, my childhood in Puerto Rico we were 3 sisters and 1 brother. It was really nice. I still remember, certain parts of, living in Puerto Rico. We had a great family. My father was an excellent father, my mother also. And we moved to New York when I was about, I think it was 8 or 9. And we lived in the, I would say Lower East Side, it was in the Mary Hill section of Manhattan. I went to school there for, oh my God, until I was in my 8th grade. Something that happened there while I was in school. I was in 4th grade, and I had this teacher, believe it or not, I just forgot her name. But we were in class, and then she comes around and she's like, I wasn't paying attention. It was a social study class, okay? So I wasn't paying attention. She gave everybody a newspaper, the New York Times, to read an article or something like that, and I wasn't paying attention. All I was looking at was this beautiful fashion ad from Lord & Taylor. And then I had my notebook out and my pencil, and I was just sketching away. She goes around and she taps me on the shoulder and she says, "Oh, beautiful work." She goes, "You're gonna be something when you grow up." And then she just kept on walking, and she understood that I wasn't paying attention to her class. And I always remember that. I always remember her for that. And I'm grateful. But like I said, I forgot her name right now. Oh my God, it must be a senior moment.
So how did you become an artist? Like when did you know? Did you have like an aha moment?
I guess when I was in the High School of Art and Design, I had that flair. I always liked fashion. Since my mother was a seamstress, and when we used to go out, she used to sew our dresses. But I guess I picked it up from my mother. My mother was always a good dresser. I always admired her for the way she dressed. She was impeccable in everything she wore. And I guess I was a little bit like her. So that's why, I went to art and design. I took fashion design, fashion illustration, and then from there I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, and I took children's wear design, which I did not like. It was a big mistake.
Why was that?
It was boring. I was working with Jordache jeans, and we were just, everything was the same. We were making the same jacket, 20 million colors. And to me, that was like boring. And I used to tell the pattern makers, why are we doing this jacket in 20 million colors? It's so boring. Why don't we do something different? And at one point he told me, this is what they're selling, and this is what they're making their money on. So one day I got so bored of the job that I did something I shouldn't have done. I walked out and I never went back again. But then that was the best thing I ever did. I went back, and since I was working at that time, I was working as a part-time salesperson in a boutique around 34th Street. So the owner of the store told me, if you want to come back, and I'm going to give you a job as an assistant buyer. was an assistant buyer, then I was promoted to buyer, and I was buying accessories for 18 stores. And then once in a while, they would take me, and I used to go with the sportswear buyer because they told me that I had a very good eye for color. There you go. And I also did some window displays and a lot of fashion merchandising, which is something that I really like and something that I integrate in my job right now. See this exhibition that we did right now? I took it to the level of, I used my fashion buying experience to put this exhibition together, which helped that out.
Okay, you say this exhibition. What exhibition are you talking about?
We're talking about the Expression exhibition from PRIDA, 50 Puerto Rican artists, and we had the pleasure of exhibiting here at Art Space until, I would say, August 17. It's been a great experience putting this exhibition together with all these fabulous Puerto Rican artists that people have to know and get to know them.
Who curated this exhibit?
I curated this exhibition. Luis Cordero asked me if I wanted to curate the exhibition.
Who's Luis Cordero?
He's the president of PRIDA. He's the head of PRIDA. Fabulous guy. So he said, he asked me, are you up to it? I said, yes. He says, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'll take the chance. You never know. But it was a great experience for me, working with all these artists, all these, we have printmakers, you have photographers, you have painters, you have people that work with watercolor, acrylics, oil paints. It's fantastic to have them all into this exhibition.
Have you ever curated an exhibition before?
I have curated exhibitions, but my students' exhibition.
Your students?
Yeah, I have my seniors.
Oh.
I teach at a senior center, not one, but 4 different places. They're all either residents or centers where seniors go and they take classes. I teach jewelry making and I teach mixed media art.
So how do you work? What is your process?
My process? What do you mean?
What is your creative process like? When you create something, do you work from photos? Do you work from life? Do you work from imagination?
I like to work from photos. Like a lot of my work that I do in Puerto Rico. So what I do is I go there and I photograph everything that I want to work. Doesn't matter whether I like it or not, but I like to take photographs. Then I go back home and I study the photographs, and whatever inspires me, that's what I'll be working on. Sometimes you don't have time, you see something and you go, oh, this is beautiful, but I have to keep on walking. So what I do is I take a photograph, save it in the moment, and then work on it later.
So is the work behind you one of your pieces?
This piece is one of my pieces. This was taken, the photograph was taken in Cabo Rojo, in La Playa, the beach in Cabo Rojo. It was a little beach house that was right by the water. I was captivated by this little house. It was so beautiful. And I took the picture of it, and then when I went back to Puerto Rico a year later, the house was gone. Maria had just taken that house. It was no longer there. I was going up and down the beach looking for the home, for the little house, and my partner told me, don't look for it because it's gone. It's gone. It's no longer there. I was devastated. I was so devastated, but I still have the photograph. So what I did is when I got home from Dulce, I went back and looked at the picture, and I had to do this work. This is watercolor and wash and pencil. And it's one of my favorites.
Now, what is the difference between watercolor and wash?
Wash is a little more intense. The colors are more intense. Watercolors tend to be a little more friendly. Wash, you have to work really fast and then dry, and you can work over it. So they say, but I could work over them. The colors are more intense.
What is integral to your work? What is the thing that is always a part of your work, or is important to your work, or runs as a theme, or an aspect that runs through your body of work?
A lot of my work, I tend to do nature. Nature is something that I do in a lot of flowers. I love working with flowers. I love working with, let's say, landscape. Anything that has to do with nature attracts me. Destruction kind of doesn't, I can't get to. It just doesn't work for me. So it has to be something that is smoothing, something that anybody could see and say, ah, this is so pretty, ah, this is so nice, ah, this reminds me of whatever. But anything that has to do with war, destruction, no, I cannot, it just doesn't flow.
So what are your biggest influences and inspirations?
Inspiration, again, nature. I get inspired by nature. Puerto Rico, when I go to Puerto Rico, it's my biggest inspiration. I mean, I have taken a lot of pictures here, photographs here to do, like in Central Park. I have thousands and thousands of pictures from Central Park, but I haven't had that inspiration yet. But when I go to Puerto Rico, it's like, ah, this is beautiful. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, because I guess it reminds me, of my childhood when I used to live there, the beauty. I don't know. That's Puerto Rico.
So you could say, somebody can say it's more that you have to feel a personal connection.
Yes.
Not so much the visual beauty.
Right.
It's a personal connection. Are there any artists that influence your work?
Matisse, kind of like him. He's one of my favorites. His cutouts series, which was I think that was his last. I saw an exhibition at MoMA. I was like, oh my God, this is just it. I loved it. I still have it in my heart. And I do a lot of cutouts in my work, and every time I do one, it reminds me of Matisse. Jerry Tucker, she's a bomba dancer. One day I went to, I can't think it was 109th Street, they were having a street fair, and she was performing there. And I saw her dancing. That was the first time I ever seen a bomba dancer. And I was captivated by her beauty and the way she moved. And she's dancing there, and all of a sudden she started doing a ballet step there. She starts dancing ballet and bomba, and I was like, oh my God, I was taken away. So I started taking pictures of her, and I went back home and I said, I have to do something with this beautiful girl, and I did a linoleum print, which everybody loves. She's been on exhibition quite a while. Everywhere I take that piece of artwork, everybody falls in love with her. She was my biggest inspiration last year.
What is your preferred medium and why?
Watercolor. I love watercolor. I think it's fascinating. I cannot do acrylics to save my life. I'm horrible with acrylics. Oil paint, I was never attracted to oils. Watercolor has been, oh my God, I love watercolor. I could be doing watercolors for the rest of my life. I love how the colors come out. And let's say if I like this work over here, which is watercolor. If I would have done this in oil, it wouldn't have resonated like this. I just love the way something about watercolor.
Usually watercolor is one of the hardest mediums to work in because it's very unforgiving.
For me,
you can't really...
Easiest.
Really?
Yeah, the easiest. You give me watercolor, I am very happy. Give me acrylic and I will not do anything. I just can't do anything. Watercolor is for me. Best. And I did take classes when I was in FIT, but that was fashion illustration. That was like maybe 40 years ago. And then I came back to watercolors maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm pretty much happy. I pretty much mastered it. I didn't take any classes because I don't like to take lessons from anybody. I try to do it on my own, and then I figure it out somehow.
So how would you say your craft has developed over the years?
Well, when I started, I would say it was like somebody said it was like, over the kitchen counter. Like, what do you think by that? She goes, well, because you started at home and you're probably working in the kitchen. I was like, oh, I was insulted at the beginning, but then I was like, no, she was right. I was working over the kitchen counter, but when I started, I had a huge line. Now I know how to cut and make just certain pieces, not work on too many pieces that don't mean anything, just work on a line. If I'm working with the jewelry. With the jewelry, I get inspired also by nature. With the art, how has it developed? I'm doing more of the watercolors part, which is something that I like. I'm also doing a little bit of photography because I like photography, and that works with my work. And I'm doing a little bit of printing, which is working with linoleum and then using the press and using these. I don't know how to master it yet, but it's a learning process, which is very, how can I say, you have to learn the trade before you do printing.
So for those who are not familiar with the term linoleum, what is linoleum?
Linoleum is a piece, it could be, for printing, linoleum that they use for the floor. We cut the linoleum and then we sketch on it and then we carve it. It's these special tools that we use. And then we put the linoleum we ink it and then we put it through a press. We put paper over it, then we put it through a press and you get this beautiful artwork. I have one in there that I did with linoleum, one piece. It's still a learning process, I'm telling you, because I'm not a master yet. I did maybe a couple of, that's about it.
What is your favorite work and why?
My favorite work is this one right here. My little house, the castle. En el recuerdo I call it, because I remember this, it's in the past, it's no longer there. So this is my favorite so far. Because when I took the picture of this little house, I fell in love with it. And it was so beautiful. It was by the ocean. It was very simple, made out of wood, and it was rustic, and it was everything that I liked. And I was like, every time I looked at it, it was like, oh my God, I would like to spend the day there. But when I went back a year later,
So you've immortalized it.
Yes. I have a lot of people that are interested in buying this piece, but I can't let go of it.
You're attached to it.
Yeah. I'm attached to it. And the roosters that I have on the other side of the gallery they would fall into second place because of when I went to Puerto Rico after Maria, I saw a lot of roosters loose in the streets, especially in San Juan. There was a little park in San Juan that was loaded with roosters and chickens and little chicks. And it was something that I never seen. And that also, kind of devastated me. But then yet, there was a lot of beautiful roosters roaming around. Took photographs. And some of them are the other gallery up there. So maybe you have a chance to look at them later.
How do you overcome creative blocks?
Oh my God, I've been on a creative block. I just let it go. I put everything down. Don't touch anything. Let it go maybe for, I've been on a creative block for 2 months. I want you to know. Just let it go. Before I used to get frustrated, but now I say to myself, just put it down. Don't touch anything. Go outside. Go look at the world. Have fun. And then maybe when you relax, you come back and you can create something. No longer do I get, all uptight because I can't create now. I think that's the best medicine. Let it go. Let it go and then come back later.
How do you determine when a work is finished?
Ay, that's hard. I had problems with that. Because I would just finish something and then go back again the next day and find a lot of mistakes and I would want to fix it and then I would overdo it. And now, if it has a little mistake, I just don't let it go. Leave it like that. It's part of the work. I learned to let it go also.
I think artists are more hard on themselves than other
people. And then we
people.
start overworking a project, and we just, no. Sometimes I ask my partner, Marcos, how does it look to you? Does it look fine? It looks fine. Okay, leave it like that.
So how do you feel when you finish your work?
I feel satisfied, especially if it's something that I've been looking forward to painting, or it's a photograph that is like, how can I say, it touches my heart. And then I see it in front of me and it's beautiful, I'm overjoyed.
What was your best and worst experience as an artist?
My worst experience as an artist. I think the worst experience, but then I got over it. Is that I one of my pieces, when I was, starting to do artworks and things, I submitted a piece and it was rejected. Oh, I was devastated. And then I was like, oh, then I went back and I said, you know what? They were right for not accepting my piece. It needs more work, it wasn't finished. So it was bad and then it was okay, it was okay with me because really it wasn't finished. It wasn't something that I should have submitted.
What was your best experience?
The best experience was when I did my first exhibition. I think it was when we did the exhibition with PRIDA. I think it was at the Cardinal Cook's.
Terrence Cardinal Cook?
Yeah, right there. And it was like the first time I did an exhibition. I was like, wow, my piece is here, finally.
What do you most like and most dislike about being an artist?
The most I like is spending time painting or drawing or watercolors. The worst thing that I like is not having money to buy paints. We always have to give us something. Either I buy materials or I eat or I buy that dress or I buy that bag. You always have to give up something if you want to do art.
Besides the exhibitions that you've curated, that in my personal opinion, looks like you did a great job. But what other projects have you worked on?
Other projects.
Not solo, well, it could be solo projects, but just what other projects have you worked on?
Oh, we did, Vivian, Sarah and I did exhibition at Boricua College, which was very successful. It was a great experience. I have another, well, I don't know, coming forward, I have 3 more exhibitions. For one in September, 2 in September, and 1 in December, and we're going forward in March of next year. I have an exhibition at El Boricua with 4 other printmakers.
And where is Taller Boricua? Where is that?
At the Julia de Burgos Center.
In Manhattan?
In Lexington. Oh, plus, I forgot to say, some of my work has been exhibited at Museo de Historia de Ponce. We did an exhibition there.
Wow.
Very successful.
What is your dream project?
My dream project is working with my seniors and getting them to exhibit in a place where everybody could come and see their work. I love working with seniors. I mean, we have done exhibitions, but very small exhibitions at the centers that I work, but I want to do an exhibition where I could take their work and show it to the world. Making this paper earring. Paper earring, I'm gonna say paper earring. It's a paper bead.
Like a lot of the other artists, like Sarah, Vivian, and George, using imagery. We see a lot of these same images throughout Puerto Ricans artwork here, in New York City. We're in New York City, in their artwork, whether it's images of the flag, Vejigantes, Santos, Coqui the Coqui, there's other images from the island or part of our culture, cultural heritage. So that's going to make its way into a lot of people's artwork. So, it's not surprising whether it's paintings, sculptures, print work, that you're going to see these images pop up a lot because there are these connections for people, and they're really important connections to someone's identity. So that's again, Elsie does what some other artists do as well, like incorporating these into her artwork. And so it's not like the paintings and the collages aren't a traditional form that's from Puerto Rico from way back. But she takes these images, and some of them are folk images, some of them might just be cultural images, and brings them into her work. What I find very interesting too is when people use sort of like found objects and recycled objects. To me, it's almost like it's a complete different folk art in itself. It's not just specific to Puerto Rican. There's a lot of people who are using like recycled materials, and I consider that almost a genre in itself, and it's very important on different levels. I mean, some people do it because they just feel environmentally it's important, but there's an environmental crisis. We're living in a world, in a cast-off societies where things are just cast off. Things break, we throw them away, we don't repair them. They're just made cheaply and just the stuff is just thrown out right away. So to be able to take items that were used and create something else out of them, I think is really important. And probably it could be, depending on the artist's perspective, really meaningful for them to be able to do that.
Where are we today?
You are at my mixed media class at the Red Oak Senior Center.
Senior Center.
At 106th Street between Columbus and Amsterdam Avenue.
And what are we doing today?
Today we're making paper beads with more or less with fabric, paper, and whatever we can make the beads with. So today I'm giving them a lesson on beginning on recycling, more or less, which is my class. This class is mixed media, especially in this room and in this building. Most of the work that we do, we encourage the students to recycle any materials from home, either glass or paper or cardboard, anything that could be reused. We do it here. So today we're reusing paper from a magazine we have a store at the beginning of, at the entrance of the building. And it's like a secondhand store, so they have a lot of magazines there. So we're making paper beads with the recycled magazines.
Now, why recycled materials? Why?
Because I think, a lot of some of the stuff you don't even need to spend money on buying. A lot of these materials you might have it at home, so why not reuse it? Why not help the environment? Instead of throwing out, let's make something reused and make something new out of it.
Is paper the only material that you're using to make the beads?
No, we're using fabrics also. So if you have like an old shirt or an old skirt and you love the fabric, I encourage, so you could cut the fabric and use it for something else. You could make a bag, you can make beads, you can make an apron, you can make another blouse if you need to.
Why do you like working with seniors?
I don't know, it's a passion of mine. I look at I've been working with them for about 6 years, and I think they deserve to be treated the classes that I do with my seniors are classes. I don't want them to be going to a center and doing work. Let's say they to get treated like if they're children. They're not children, they're adults, There's so many things that they could do. Like I went to a place and I got really upset. It was a senior center. And what I saw the seniors playing around with crayons.
Crayons?
Yeah, crayons. I'm like, why are they working with crayons? Why don't you give them better materials? They're not children. They could be using watercolors, they could be using acrylics, they could be working on a canvas, they could be doing something other than working with crayons. That got me really upset. So from there on, I was like, okay, I got interested. I was asked if I wanted to come and work in this center and where we are right now, and I said yes. So I started doing mixed media art classes. But one thing, I do have crayons here, but I do not use it with my seniors. It was crayons that were donated. So they're here for children. If their children come and visit, they might use the crayons. But for them, we have watercolors, we have acrylics, we have the best
We even do printing in here, okay?
Printing.
Printing. We have an exhibition outside in the hallway. Linoleum, very expensive linoleum that they use. We have the carving tools. We have the printing inks. And this is work that is very advanced. So there's, advanced work. I don't want them doing any children's work. All the work that they do is very advanced. They're capable of doing it, and they are doing it in this class. I mean, if you ask my students here, they'll tell you. We did some mask. I don't know, did you see that mask we have in the hallway? That's very advanced work that they did, but we all did it all. We all learned from each other. That was a project that I did with them, and I didn't know what I was doing, and they didn't know what they were doing. So we were all teaching each other, and if you go to the hallway and see, the mask came out really beautiful. So to me, I don't want them doing anything that's, how can I say, they're not children. These are adults, and they're capable of doing so much. This is showing you this is my mixed media arts class. So we did a project on printing. It was the first time that they ever did a printing job. I gave them a piece of linoleum. Before that, they had to choose a design, put it on a piece of paper, then trace the design, put it on a piece of linoleum, and they had to carve out the design. When they carve out the design, let's say, talking about this one, she did a bird, okay? So what we did is we took a piece of black paper, we used white printing ink. We took the ink, we put it over the linoleum. Then we took the paper, we put the paper over the painted linoleum. And then we kind of, with our hands, we were like trying to smooth it out or to press on it. And when we finished, this is the design that she got. This is the first time she ever did any printing. This is another design doing printing with linoleum and carving. Let me go and get you a piece of linoleum so I can show you what the linoleum is. This is that piece of linoleum. This is the flower that one of my students carved out. So after she carved out the design, she put some printing ink over it. And she put a piece of paper top of the ink, and what we did is with our hands, because we don't have anything else to do, we pressed on it, and when she finished, I don't know if the design is in here somewhere, the design comes out, let's say, similar to, let's say, this design over here. So this is the flower design. It doesn't have to look perfect, all the imperfections are welcome. But you can see the flower design on here. You can see the bird design here. There's another flower design here. It's all done through the same technique with the linoleum and ink and carving the piece. This is, I would say this is it's not intermediate, this is an advanced project. And my class was able to tackle it and learn the technique really fast. It's a technique that they love doing, and I might repeat the class or just make it into, maybe next semester we're going to be doing printing, only printing, a printing class. This is the same project, yet she took it and she did it with pastels. So it's not only doing...
She did it with what?
First she did it with the printing ink. She printed this piece and then she went over it with pastels. Let me see. So see, this is the same design. She did it in the black paper and then she did it over a white paper, black and white, positive and negative. We got this design here, which is the same. It's different color ink, different color paper, and you got different results there. They were just learning. This is the first project that they ever did, and look how beautiful it came out. So these are adults, they're not children. These adults are from ages 68 to 97.
Wow, 97.
97. Okay, this project, we tackled this project because we wanted to learn how to make masks. I did not know how to make masks, they didn't know how to make masks. So what I did is it was like, how could I say, reto, como dicen. I told them, we are all gonna learn together how to make masks. We're gonna be making a lot of mistakes. It's gonna be a learning process. So what we did is we bought balloons, we got newspaper, we bought a whole bunch of glue. It took us maybe a month to get to the stage where we got to. This work is all my students' work. And maybe one of mine is on the other side. So the topic that we used was Loisa, because it was the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and it was dedicated to Loisa, so we decided to make some masks dedicated to Loisa. The only thing is that Loisa, they use coconut, but we can't use coconuts here because they're under recarving coconuts. So we used the balloon and newspaper, and I think we did a pretty good job for our first time.
No me pareció caro. Cuatro personas. Y con Walker y todo. Allá en la 207. Yo no sé si usted se acuerda del restaurante Genesis que estaba aquí en la 181 en San Nicolás. Ya. Ellos hicieron algo que no estaba bien y le quitaron el local. Pero ella ya.
These are the colors of the Puerto Rican flag.
La comida es buena. Bueno, no le recomiendo el caldo de gallina.
We have students that are Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Ecuadorians. We have from all over Cuban, from all over the world, and we're very dedicated on doing this project. This is my mixed media class project.
You have to speak up because
Okay, this project, it's a lot of,
Yeah.
and mucho ruido allá. Okay, this project was the project that I saw on Pinterest. It was kind of interesting because all the materials are recycled, and again in my class all the materials that I use are recycled. So I came up with, and I showed it to my students. They were very happy to do this. These are milk jugs. You got anything that's plastic. You got water jugs in here, milk jugs. Recycled fabrics, flowers. Practically 90% of the projects is made out of recycled materials. And it was hand painted. We used acrylic paint. As you can see here, it's acrylic paint. Yarn that was left over from another project, and flowers that were from maybe 2 or 3 years ago. As you can see how this is I think that was from a quilting project. So she used all these little printed pieces from a quilting project that she had done, and the flowers were left over also from another project that she had done. These are recycled earrings, as you can see here. Came out really pretty. I had like maybe 14 and 15 students that cayó la pila. They came out quite nice. They've been quite famous. It's a conversation piece. That's what we call them, conversation pieces. And if let's say if you want to put a plant in there, you could put a plant or hang it on the wall. That's about it.
How did you get involved with working with seniors?
It was one day I was working with Michael, teaching jewelry making class.
Michael's the arts and crafts store?
Yeah, on 99th Street and Columbus Avenue. And one of the managers of the center came in, and she asked me if I could do jewelry classes at one of the centers. I said, yeah. So I started doing jewelry making classes, and then from there I started, they had me do mixed media art with the seniors.
Are the earrings that you're wearing, is that those earrings you made?
Yes, I made these.
Oh, you made those.
It's a mixed media stamping and dapping class that I did at my course.
Very cool. Very cool.
One of my
Okay. What would you like to accomplish with your work?
What do I want to accomplish? I would like to, I don't know, I have something in mind that I want to do in Puerto Rico. As a matter of fact, I just wrote to the mayor of Isabela, and I would like to bring my work over there, my hometown of Isabela, since they just opened a cultural center. So that's something that's in the process.
Why did you join PRIDA?
Why? Because I wanted to get my work out there, especially with a group of Puerto Rican artists. That was my biggest, something that I wanted to do. Not with, I'm not taking my work with and taking it to any gallery, but I wanted to work with Puerto Rican artists since I didn't have that. How can I say, when I was growing up, I wasn't growing up with Puerto Rican artists. The artists that I was, growing up with were only the Jewish or Americanos or here and there, but not with my own community. So I needed to somehow get back to my roots and work with people, I think, from Puerto Rico. I felt left out when I was growing up. The Puerto Rican side of me was like yearning to go back.
You needed to connect.
Connect with my Puerto Rican people. And now, especially that I live in that barrio, I feel like, wow, I finally connected. It's a learning experience. All these people are all these great artists that I have met,
What advice do you have for an aspiring artist?
What advice is, I don't know. If you want to do art, don't be afraid of doing anything. Just do it. Go outside and do it. Don't be afraid. Go out and reach out. Go visit galleries. Go to the museums. Take a class here and there if you like. I didn't. I've done it on my own, but take a class here and there and explore. Don't hold back.
Anything else you'd like to add that I didn't ask?
You pretty much touched bases. You did a pretty good job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I have to thank you and PRIDA for giving me this opportunity, because without PRIDA, I wouldn't have been here. Because PRIDA was opened the doors for me and many other Puerto Rican artists. So for that, I'm thankful.
Thank you so much for sharing your creativity with us.
And thank you, and thank Rolinda for lending us the space, or art space.
Yay, Rolinda!